First of all, welcome to all for into this program. So I understand that in this group there is like a very varied level of understanding with respect to the programming. But when we start today, our focus is to kind of get our hands dirty with the first program. So we are not going to kind of jump into many complex activities today. So we'll start. We'll basically make sure that all of us get some familiarity with Java. And when we do the programming, when we are going through the class, it's going to be hands-on sessions, in the sense like I'm not going to share with you any theory. We'll both sit together. We'll start try to kind of write some programs. And as we write the program, we will try to learn about that. So we'll get started. The topic is about Java, and as already mentioned, what we will try to do over the next couple of days is to kind of understand Java. And as we start understanding Java, we will make sure that how we can use Java effectively to write good programs, enterprise level programs, which basically means that more than what we do it for an academic purpose, we can basically use it to kind of build application, things like that. As I understand, we already have, some participants who is actually building games, things like that. So I'm hoping that they will be able to leverage some of the learning which happens during this session. Since we already had jumped into the, we already has covered the introduction, we'll move ahead. So I know that there are so many people who said that they are familiar with programming language. And so what's your understanding about a programming language?
We use programming language to communicate with the computer.
Okay. Okay, somebody has typed, Abel has typed a language that the processor understands. Any other definition?
For typing commands.
Typing commands. Anything else? Okay, let me ask you this question. So do you think when you write a program, that program can be only used for a computer?
No, sir, it can also be used to perform tasks in a computer.
No, my question is, that task can be only done in a computer. Have you seen computer programs or the programs being used outside the computer?
So once we program, we can execute it in many devices.
Okay. Like?
So like we can do it for robots also. That's how they're able to do things.
Okay, cool. So yeah. So one important thing about programming is, even though you might be writing your code in a system or a laptop, it doesn't need to basically used only in a computer. It could be used in any, there are many electronic devices. We are now hearing about smart home also, how we can control the various different electronic devices in a home by using your mobile. We also know about the smart TVs. So we also know about the robotics. And so the usage of a computer program is not really restricted only into the laptop or into your desktop. You might be actually writing the program here, but it can be utilized to talk to any machine, provided that machine has the capability to understand those instructions. So it's a way of talking to a machine. That's kind of a more a definition that I love. It's a way we talk to our friends. This is a way for you to talk to a computer more than talk to a machine. It helps you to give specific instruction to the machine so that machine can perform many activity which you don't want to perform, or the machine can perform it in a way much better than how you are performing it. So that's the way I see a computer program. So I'm sure all of you have are familiar with various different programming languages. There is n number of programming languages which are available right now. I mean, initially in the beginning, we had like Pascal, C, which are more the programming languages which stayed closer to a machine. So if you basically look at that programming language, it talks more the language of a machine than a human. But as the time evolved, there are more well-defined programming languages which basically came in, which has the capability also, and which are more easier to kind of program also with more capabilities also. Because I mean initially when you start writing a program, your intention was to write the program for execution in a in a computer. But now when we basically look at, there are multiple devices where we wanted our program to be executed. So with that, multiple programs also came into picture. So there are programs which are used for web programming. There are programming languages which you use for developing your mobile apps, to even any device programming. All this can be done through various different programming languages. So I heard many people talking about Python, where they are familiar with Python as a programming language. Python is a more a new generation programming language, very capable and very good programming language. Just like that, there are other programming languages also available. Now, with the context of this session, we are basically interested in Java, right? I mean, I'm sure all of you joined this session because you have some interest in Java. Some of you might felt Java is cool. So before we start the session, I thought it makes sense to kind of understand a little bit about Java. So anybody can tell me who is this person?
James Gosling.
The James Gosling.
Wow, wow. And what's his connection with Java?
Sir, he's
He is
the
founder
inventor of Java.
Java.
Okay. Now, so tell me, what is the story of Java? How did Java came into existence? Okay, did I lost the connection, or are you guys thinking?
Sir, I guess I'm not sure. I've heard that
Uh-huh.
James Gosling with his friends
Okay.
developed Java and developed Java. Like he began with his friends, with the help of his friends, he started to develop Java.
You are correct. But do you know for what purpose he started developing Java?
So like to make the World Wide Web easier.
Not really. Any other guess? Okay, so I mean, Java was started, or the reason James Gosling and his team started working on creating a new programming language is because they wanted a programming language which can be used for more device programming. Like you have seen the setup boxes, right? Where you connect to, Asianet, Cablevision, or any setup boxes, right? Which will be used to watch TV, and the other devices like which are not your computer. So they wanted a programming language where a program can be written and can be run anywhere. One of the challenges which some of the previous programming language it has a dependency with the machine in which it's been written. So if you write the program for a specific machine, it could be only used in the context of that specific environment. So with Java, they were trying to kind of break it. Like write once, you can run it anywhere, whether it is a mobile, whether it is a desktop or a laptop, whether it is a setup box, whether it is your the lift you are using to kind of go up and down. So it can be run in any device. So that's one of the reasons James Gosling and team tried to kind of identify a new programming language. But I couldn't understood who said that. But it's a fact that Java soon kind of translated into a programming language for the internet, especially because of its behavior that it can be, it's like a device agnostic. You can run it anywhere once you write the Java program. One another question. Do you know what was the first name of Java?
Sir, Oak.
Okay, then how did Java got the name Java?
From the coffee.
Okay, so yeah, so they were trying to kind of look out for a new name, and what happened was that I believe they were trying to kind of experiment or try to figure it out different names. And James Gosling, I understand that is a fan of Java coffee beans, which is basically the coffee which comes from Indonesia. And I believe he used the term, he took that and named his programming language Java. But after that, it was like history. The Java really grew in terms of a popularity because of its capability, because of its, the various different features that the Java had. It soon expanded to both corporates, to the educational sector, and everybody kind of started adopting Java. And internet played a very important role in terms of the growth of the programming language. So that's a quick introduction about Java. Now let's get into programming. So what I would suggest is we basically, when you write a Java programming or any other program for that matter, I'm sure you will be using an IDE. So quickly, if you
Integrated development environment.
yes, you might have written HTML, you might have written Java, you might have written Python, but just message me in the chat what IDE or how did you used to write the programs before. For whatever programming language or the programming that you have done, whether even if it is HTML, what you have used. So we have people who have used JetBrains, Spider, VS Code, BlueJ, Atoms, cool. So, okay. So for the other people who are not familiarized with the IDE, don't worry. We'll go step by step. So in the slide that I'm going to share with you, it talks about what all are the different environment that we will be using for writing programs. But we'll start in a very simple way, and then we'll slowly progress into the different levels. So what I'm going to share, there are three. You could see three links into this. One is codecollab.io. So I would suggest all of you to kind of click on there and go to their website. So this is an online coding environment. So you don't need to kind of install anything in your system. You don't have any dependency. You just go to this website and we can all start writing code. So today, when we start, we will be first start using writing the program in this online coding environment. But this is little tricky in the sense like it's not like a very robust system. So you might face some challenges, but we'll start with this. Then as we progress through different sessions, we will be using OpenJDK 11, which is from Amazon Corsetto, which will be the JDK version which will be used for the programming. And we'll be using JetBrains IntelliJ IDE community version for the for IDE, but it's not today. In the next upcoming sessions, we will slowly switch from codecollab.io to the JetBrains IntelliJ for doing all our coding. So what I'm going to do is let me just share it in the group. I would suggest you keep a copy of that, and whoever is already familiar with the environment, I think you can start install that. So that will be easy for you to start. When we start installing, we can kind of get started much faster. And the second thing that I would like you to do is just go to codecollab.io in your browser. So it looks something similar to this. So first thing is go to the site for which I have shared you the link. Just click on Get Started. Once you click on Get Started, from the drop down, select Java. And then click on Create Project. So now don't message me, just let me know once all of you are here, because I cannot see the message.
Yes, sir, done, sir.
Okay.
Done, sir.
All done?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. So this is going to be our IDE for today. We'll try to kind of write our program in this for today. So before we start let's quickly go back to our presentation. Okay, so we'll start with Hello World, which is the first program which happens in every language. So few things just to kind of make you familiar with the Java. So here you would see the already there is a class called main.java. Okay. We will be writing our program under main.java. And you will, I mean, once I right click here, you will see the button called compile this file. So this will be used to convert this program that we have written into the language that machines understand. And we have a click run here. So our first goal or first objective is to write our first small program here. Second step is to right click here and say compile this file. Third is to click run, and hopefully we'll get the output that we basically is looking for here. So already
Yes, sir.
okay, so when we write program in Java, the first component in Java is what you call it as a class. So class can be considered something as the topmost layer. So every program that you are going to be writing, it will be within a class. So you could see the first thing I wrote is a class, because all the program that I'm going to write in Java will be within a class. Then class. So let's do one thing. So sometime this name can create a problem. So we'll start from scratch. New file. We'll name our file as Hello World. And the file extension is Java. You need to type that. And once you type that into Java, you can see that icon changed color. So I created my file. And in Java, usually we use camel cases for writing the name of a class. So class is the topmost part. So H is capital, W is capital. That's the way we usually write. Now in this, once I created my file where I'm going to write my program, and the class has the name Hello World, where H starts with capital and W is already also capital. Then when I write my class name, I have to follow exactly what name I have given for my file. So my class has to be Hello World. Okay. Now we don't want to kind of write any complicated or any complex program right now. The intention is let's just write a Hello World program. So in class, in Java, there will be various methods. methods are the functional blocks where it does some operations. And in a simple Java class, if if Java doesn't know what needs to be called, it by default calls a main method. So we are going to write a main method, which will be the first method that will be called. Don't worry about the parameters, what we are mentioning. We will explain that later during, as we go through the session. And I'm going to say system.out.println. Okay. So I wrote my first program. Let's see whether this will work or not. Compile this file, step number 1.
I'm not able to open it.
Sorry.
I'm not able to open it.
That's okay. We'll come to that. Don't worry. Okay. So you could see that we have written Java C hello world here. Then when we run the hello world program, whatever we basically has typed here, that came as an output here. I understand that many of you might not get into, understand what is being written, what all are the parameters. Don't worry about that at all. The idea is we just wanted to get started by writing a simple program. So what we'll do is I will give you chance to kind of try this out. And if you're facing any problem, you can just share the screen. We will see how we can basically fix it. We might not be able to do it for everyone, but we'll try to do it for 1 or 2% at least, so that if you're facing a problem, we can fix that. Why don't you guys go ahead? I will just keep this as it is here. We'll give a 2 minutes time or 3 minutes time for all of you to write, and then we'll look at if somebody is facing a problem. If anybody got output hello world successfully able to run, just if you can just let me know, that would be great. Let's see who gets the hello
I
world.
got the output.
2, cool. I understand that 2 people was able to get the output. Rest is still trying to kind of figure it out. If you can kind of stop for a minute, let's kind of, I don't know what is your problem, but let's kind of look at few things that could have gone wrong for you. So I'm assuming you've been able to come to this screen. If you are not able to come to the screen, we will have to see that. But let's say you have come to this screen. Please do check that the name of your class and the name of the file is exactly the same. It's written here. It is hello world.java. Here it is hello world. And there is an opening parenthesis and there is closing. And when I have written the main, it's public static void and all small letters main. String S is capital and there is this braces. ARGS, then again there is an opening parenthesis and closing parenthesis, and there is, after the sentence, there is the semicolon is here. In the system.out.println, S is capital, and there is a quote at the beginning of hello world, and there's a quote end where whichever is the word we are trying to kind of print, it is under a quote. Second thing is, if you are if you are trying to click here and then compile, if it is not working, if something has gone wrong, just delete the class file. You can just and then delete it and try it once again, because as I said, this environment has some issues. So you can just right click here, delete that file, not the Java file. If you delete the Java file, you will have to write it again. And once you ensure that you have looked at all these things, and if everything looks fine, you can clip it here and try running once again.
I got it.
Cool. Anybody wants to basically share their screen just to see if it is not working fine? We can quickly look at.
Can I share my screen? I have got some error in it. I have a doubt in my program.
Yeah, go ahead, Aditya. I think you will have I mean, I think maybe, yeah, so you can share your screen now. Click on the share button. So my request to others is just look at this. So if we do this,
There should be a space between string and args, and the braces after string are square brackets.
okay, cool.
So he
Excellent.
didn't add public in the top line, public class.
No, public class is not mandatory. I think he needs to add between string and args.
And also there's a brace after class hello world.
Okay, okay. So let's kind of go slowly. What is the first issue with this code?
Okay, there should be a space and a brace after class hello world.
No, I think I'm not able to hear you clearly. Can you just?
There should be a open bracket after the first line, class hello world.
Yeah, can you add that? After hello world. After hello world. Yeah, there.
And yeah.
Okay. You don't need a closing. You just need the start. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah, and then after string, the string S is capital. And then the braces for string are still S is not capital yet, and the braces of string are square brackets, and there's a space after that.
We need a space after that.
Yeah, and string S is not capital still.
No, I think it is capital. We are not able to. I mean, I think it is capital.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is this all good now? Can we compile it?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead. Right click on hello world.java. In your left pane, you can see in your left side, not that side, the other side. You see the file name hello world.java under thread closure. Yeah, just click on that hello world. No, on the left side. You can see File Explorer.
So we can also run it, right? Run the program.
No, you try it, but sometimes this, I mean, this is not a very stable. Ideally, you should be able to try running it. We'll see. Okay. So I think we should go back to thread hello world.java. Not there. Under File Explorer. Go to File Explorer. On your left side, Aditya. You can see thread. Okay, just below that, do you see hello world.java? Right click on that. Say compile. Compile this file, second option. Okay, now keep your cursor there. Okay, so this is all because of this ID. It's not keep your cursor on main. Just select that. Just click on the in main, MAIN main. Not there, not that class. In hello world, click on hello world. There is a method called main there. Public static void main string args. Yeah, just click there. Now click on run. Excellent. Okay. So anybody else? We can just basically look at one more person if anybody is facing a trouble. But I'm sure all of you are able to figure it out, you can stop sharing.
I am not able to do it.
Can you share your screen, Rishikesh? Okay, so
There should be a semicolon after hello world.
semicolon. Yeah, you can try running. Again, ideally you should be able to get an output, but this sometimes is not working. So don't worry. Let's do what we did with Aditya. Click on helloworld.java there. Right click, compile this file. Now go click on run.
Sir, I guess the string S is not capital.
Yeah, yes. Wait. Let's see whether you are lucky or not. Yes.
So
Okay.
Java is case sensitive.
Java is case sensitive, yes. So we'll discuss that more in detail, in the sense like there are, I mean, like the classes name should be like these and the methods should be like this. So we'll cover that a little later. So in the program, what I mean, I'm sure all of you has observed is when we wrote a class called hello world.java, and we basically followed some principle hello world.java, and in hello world.java we wrote a class called public static void main system.out.println, and when we run the program, it displayed hello world. I don't want you to do it now, but if you are interested, maybe after the session you can try out with a different name instead of main, instead of the line number 2 where we have written the method as public static void main. If you give some other name, what you would observe is that program will get compiled, but you will not get any output, because as a simple standalone application, Java basically looks for a method called public static void main string args to start execution. So that will be the method called by the Java to execute. Okay, so that's the reason we started with that. As a, homework, or when you are getting bored, you want to do something with the Java, try out by giving different names and see what happens. Now, the other thing that you have observed is when you run the program, when you clicked on run, basically Java executed the program that you have written, and it has created another file called hello world.class, right? Are you all able to see the other?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So so hello world.class is what is more a binary kind of a code. So how does basically Java work? And when we started talking in the beginning, based on why we discussed about why Java basically becomes such a successful programming language. We also talked about what was the reason James Gosling tried to kind of identify or come up with a new programming language, and what makes Java have those characteristics is because of what you see, that .java file and .class file. So when we write program, whether you might be writing it from a Windows operating system, somebody else might be writing from a Mac, or we'll all be writing Java files. And once you compile it, it will translate that into a class file, which is what you call it as a bytecode. And depending upon mission, Java will be able to interpret that bytecode and execute it. This is slightly different from programming language to programming language. For example, in a programming language like C, the source code gets translated into machine code directly. There is no intermediate bytecode which is getting created. And because of that reason, those programming languages has a mission dependency. So Java, since it's creating a class file, and depending upon what interpreter you are using, it enables Java to run from anywhere. So so every time you are writing a Java program, when you are compiling it, you are actually creating a class file. And when you are running it, then that class file is getting executed into mission language instructions. All good so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's get into little bit more in details into Java. So once we start kind of getting familiar with the Java, programming language, every programming language or every program has two components. What all are they?
0 and 1.
Pardon? That's in terms of how it's. But
Strings and
okay, why do you need a
Functions
program?
and objects.
There is a functions and objects. Okay.
To store data.
Yes, so there is not to store data. There will be a data, and there will be the functions which work on that data, right? It is not necessary that every time you will be using a program to store data. Maybe there are some programs which are using to store data into a database, or to store data into a flat file, or into a Word file, or into any file that you basically want. So in this case, you are storing data. But it is not mandatory that when you are writing a program, or when you are actually trying to use a program, you are always trying to store data. Can you think of any other reasons why you will use the programs? Okay, let me jump in. So you might be also using program to basically process the information, right? Let's say you are writing a program to find out, out of the 100 students which is there in, or like out of the 10,000 students which is there in a school, who got the highest mark. So what you are trying to do is, you are not actually storing the data there. What you are doing is, you are going through the data, trying to kind of process it so that you will get a specific information. Maybe that information could be which student got the highest marks in chemistry, or it could be that which student has the overall good performance in school. So in this scenario, what you are trying to do is that you are going through the data, you are processing the data so that you can make or you can get some outputs. Now, whether you are using Java or whether you are using any other programming languages, when you are working with data, you need ways to store the data, right? You need to put the data in some places so that you can, process that data. In Java programming languages, the variables are the place. The variables are the places where you are going to put your data into. So you can consider variables as a place which is like a store holder where you keep different type of data or data types. Just like maybe I'm sure in your kitchen, your mother might be keeping, there is a bottle which is where you are going to keep all the coffee powder. There is another bottle for sugar. There is another bottle for tea. Similar to that, in Java, you have specific data type that you need to use to store a certain data. For example, the data type that you are going to use to store an integer values, there you cannot store a name. Then Java will throw an error, right? So when you basically are going to work on Java and you are going to write variables, you need to know what kind of data that you are going to store on that variable, and you have to kind of define that variable appropriately. Let's not worry about that. Let's kind of jump in and let's try to see how that basically looks like. I hope you can still see my screen. So again, I'm going to create a file, a very simple file, variable example dot Java. So my file has got created, and as we discussed, you can either public class variable example. Since to see whether our program is working fine or not, we need a public static void. Just because I'm little lazy, what I will do is I will copy that from here and paste it here. Let's remove this so that now we discussed about storing data in various different type of variable types. So few of the variable types are like integer. It can be a float where you have like decimal points. The other type of data could be a name. So we will see how that basically looks like. Let's just first start with working on few data types. Let's start with integer. So let's say integer science 50. So and we can use expressions to combine multiple variables to have a certain value. So for example, I wanted to find total marks. Instead of adding that, I can add science marks plus max marks, and then I can, let's see whether that's coming properly.
So can we add a string and an integer together like that?
Yeah, we cannot add a string to an integer.
Like, can we concatenate the integer?
You can concatenate. Yes, you can do that. Feel free to, so you can do this parallelly. You can definitely try that out. So I just kind of try to run this. Let's run and see what is the total marks. Okay, so now I have two assignments for you, which you can do parallelly. But I would like you guys to try this. And what my recommendation is, first, try to write this program so that you get familiarized with science marks, max marks for integer. And then I would recommend you to change. First, you got the result. Total marks is 90. I would like you to change the max marks to 40.5 and see what happens. So the first step, write this program as it is. See whether you are getting the output. Second step, once you get the output, change the max marks to 40.5 and see what happens. If your program is not, you are not able to execute the program, please do check. As we saw some common mistakes, the starting parenthesis, closing, after string S capital, between string and args there is a space, and after each each line there should be a semicolon. So Java requires, Java understands that it is an end of a statement only if there is a closing, semicolon at the end of each sentence for a statement.
Well, I got a number format exception.
When you first executed, or when you executed it the second time?
40.5.
Okay, cool. That's fine. Okay, so I'll just stop sharing. If anybody basically wanted to share, I mean, finding any trouble in executing the program, they can share that. I mean, I would recommend it. I mean, if somebody who hasn't shared before, share their screen so that we get chance for everyone to, I mean, see how the program works. Okay, so can I assume that all of you got the result, or you don't need, I mean, feel free to share the screen, okay? So there are two advantages when you share the screen. Everybody can kind of contribute and figure it out. I mean, so debugging is the most fun, I mean, fun part of programming. So, I mean, and we have like a lot of people here who can actually help us to kind of find out what is going wrong. And us, when we do that, it will be much easier for us to learn also. So we will not make mistakes. And once we kind of fix it for one time, you will remember that. Okay. So we discussed about variable, and we saw one type of variable in Java, which is integer. So and we wrote a simple program to kind of use those variable. So now if you look at this program, the line number 3, where we are first saying int, and then we have a variable. So max marks is the name of the variable. And then there is a 45, which is a value to that variable. So 45 is the value we are assigning into the variable max marks. And int is the type or the data type of that max marks. So if you can go back to the example that we were talking about, int is the kind of sticker your mother puts on the container, so that like to know whether it is a sugar, whether it is, because if you put something else in that, it will not work. And max marks is that container, and the value, the sugar that you're going to put in there, that's going to be the 45. So when we are talking about a variable, max marks is the variable, int is the data type, and 45 is the value associated or assigned to that. I hope you are very clear about that. That's one of the fundamentals. Now we saw one data type in Java. There is a lot of different data types. Today we are just going to cover only the primitive data type, and in Java there are 4 different types of primitive data type. One is character. Character is basically used to I mean, hold the alphabets, things like that, M, A. So it's just one single character in the name Manoj. So for example, in the name Manoj, M is one char. Then there is an integer. And in integer also in Java, there are different type of I mean, variables, I mean, or the data types available. So you can define your integer value as a byte. You can define it as a short. You can define it as an int. You can define it as a long. But all these are what you call as the numbers, like without any decimal points or things like that. But let's say you are going to work on a data which has like decimal points, then you have to use floating point. And that is one reason when you change the value of the marks from 40 to 40.5, it started throwing an error because you are trying to put a floating point value or a decimal value into an integer data type. And in Java, it won't allow. There are programming languages where, I mean, the programming language is capable enough to handle. And even if you put a floating point data type to an integer or into a generic data type, it will basically still be able to run. Java will not do that. So Java is very, I mean, tightly connected with the data types that you are using. And anytime you are going to put a different data type into a variable, the program will start throwing error. And the other primitive data type in Java basically have is Boolean. What I would recommend is I mean, once after the session, please do try to play around with the different data types. For example, basically, I mean, that's example that I basically have shared with you. In this program, you could see that I changed my marks to science marks from 35 to 35.0. And if I don't change it from int to float, the program will, fail. So I have to define the value as a float. And then when we basically try to kind of execute the program will work fine. So I have a simple example, which I would request you to kind of try it out later after the session, where you could kind of get familiarized with the various different type of primitive data type. Java being an object-oriented programming, Java basically has much more capability in terms of handling the data, which we will cover in the upcoming sessions. But I would recommend all of you to kind of try it out, various primitive data type. And you don't need to install Java or anything. You can just go to the URL that I have shared with you and being able to execute that. I'm not planning to get into conditional statement today, which we will cover in the next session. So we will have a logical stop at this point of time. So two things I would request you to do before coming into the next session. One, try out various different data types. The second is I have shared with you 2 URLs for you to install the Java programming language as well as the JetBrains IDE. Try it out. If it doesn't work, that's fine.